CGCP 2137 by Chesthetica. Here white has a rook, knight and 3 pawns against black's rook and 2 bishops. So material is technically even though black does have 2 bishops. But white does have a pawn on g7 that is about to promote. So let's take a look at the obvious move here. Pawn to g8 with promotion to queen. Now notice how this attacks the rook on a2, so black might play rook to a3 check, and then king to c4, rook a4 check, king to c5, maybe bishop d4 check. Black has to keep up those checks to prevent mate. King captures c6, rook a6 check, king b5, rook b6 check, king a5, bishop to c3 check, and you get the idea. Black is using as many checks as he possibly can muster to delay the mate. So promoting to a queen would invite all of that. The best move, therefore, you might have guessed, is promotion to knight. You see, in some cases where the under promotion leads to a check but gains a tempo, in other words, forces black to deal with the check rather than trying to check the white king, that could make the difference between mating in, say, 4 moves as opposed to the mate dragging on to 9 moves, which would be the case here, as you can see from the engine analysis. So pawn promotes, or rather under promotes, to knight, and the reason for that is because, as I mentioned, white gains a tempo, so to speak, because black has to deal with this right now. King to h7, the only move, and then knight on the g file to f6 check. Now if king to h6, rook to g6 is mate immediately, and if king to h8, rook to g8 is mate immediately. So bishop captures f6, and then knight captures f6 check, and we are left with the situation we had just a moment ago. Now interestingly here, if white used the wrong knight to check the king, that means instead of knight on the g file to f6, white played knight on the e file to f6. This makes all the difference in the world, because now king to h8, and suddenly there is no easy way or no clear way for white to win, even though white is still winning. And even in this position, as you can see from the engine analysis, only one move keeps that still winning option open, because other moves would lead to a draw. So here white could play a rook captures e5, and now white has a significant material advantage over black and will eventually win. The critical moment here is knowing which knight to sacrifice with the check. Again, kind of gaining a tempo, so black has to deal with it. So it was knight on the g file to f6. Black has to deal with this because it's a check. Bishop captures f6. And then the other knight escapes capture by the c6 bishop by giving a check. Black has to move. The bishop on c6 is useless. The rook on a2 is useless, and either move allows white to mate. I hope you enjoyed this one. Until the next one.